Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the X Podcast. I'm glad that you're here today because I reached out to my community to ask them what are the topics they want me to talk about the most on my podcast and on my YouTube. And out of the list of like 4 or 5 suggestions, this was the top one, which was all about relationship marketing and how can we be growing our businesses, especially as women entrepreneurs, through the relationships and the collaborations, partnerships that we're forming with other business owners. So I'm going to give you 4 ideas today that I think are really impactful, that I've seen a huge impact in my business. And I've actually been able to grow my list, grow the members inside my community, and it's been hugely beneficial to me. And so I want to share that with you all now. In case we haven't met, my name is Brenda Rigney. I am the host of the Aligned AF community. I'm a dream business coach, and I get to work with midlife women, learning more how we can start, build, and scale our businesses, and so that we can create more freedom in our life without the burnout, without the stress, the anxiety, the headaches that sometimes come along with entrepreneurship, but that we're also being able to design business that really enable us to do the things that we love the most in our businesses, as well as spend time with the people that matter most to us. So here goes. Let's talk about 4 ways that we can include more relationship building into our overall marketing strategies for the year. And it's not too late. So depending if you're listening to this podcast in real time, it's spring in North America. And there's just a lot of things that are taking shape this year. And by no means is the year over yet. So if you haven't put these collaboration ideas into your business, there's still tons of opportunity to do this. So the first one that I love to talk about are bundles. And bundles are a great way to collaborate with a lot of different experts that are out there. So this is a great time of year to do that too. I often see a pickup in bundles coming out of the holiday season into January, February with just new goals, new opportunities to collaborate. And usually it kind of softens down a little bit and then comes back up again in April, May, and early June before people take off for the summer. Then we see another, upswing in bundles kind of going into August, September, so that fall, there's a lot of things that we can choose from. But the great thing about bundles is that there's value in big numbers. We often see anywhere between 20 to 40 contributors in a bundle. And if you're not the organizer, this is a great way for you to be able to showcase your expertise in a collective group with other experts. Now, the key thing I think for you, if you are participating in a bundle, to make sure that it is attracting in your ideal audience is pick bundles that, like, from an intentionality standpoint, know what your strategy is, know who you want to attract in. So for example, if somebody is putting together a bundle and they need contributors that are in the health and wellness space, but you tend to deal more in accounting, financial, wealth management, you could try and make a link in there, but really make sure it's intentional and deliberate. Otherwise, you might be attracting some people into your list. But let's face it, they might not be ready for what you're offering them. So you want to make sure that whatever leads are coming into your list are people that are ready to buy from you, say in the next 30, 60, 90 days at most. Otherwise, they're taking up a lot of space in your email and you may be collecting people that just take longer to convert, which I found in the past, like whenever I did those type of activities, because it took longer for them to convert, then I would think there was something wrong with my offer, scrap the offer, start again. Versus if I'm in the right spaces and bundles that are aligned with my business strategy, with who I want to attract into my offers, it can be a mutually beneficial fit for everybody. Now, the key thing that I think that makes also bundles successful is that the people that are participating in the bundles, i.e. you and me, is that we are committing to that bundle marketing plan. So whoever's organizing the bundle has already told us, hey, we'd like to hear 1 email going out to your list and 2 to 3 posts on social media before you commit to the bundle, that you've also got the systems, you've got the time, and you've got the commitment to be able to follow through on your responsibilities as a bundle participant. And so that's going to involve making sure that you have an email system that can obviously capture all the leads that are coming in, that you've set up some type of welcome sequence, and also a landing page that's really easy for people to click on it and be able to download your freebie. The second thing that I think is really important is that you've looked at your calendar so that you're not necessarily signing up to do like 7 bundles and they're all kind of descending upon your email list at the time. Because what will end up happening is your email subscribers will get a little fatigued by all these free opportunities to work with you and other business owners. And although it can be advantageous for those recipients, it can also feel a little bit exhausting to try and sift through all of it. So we want to make sure that you're picking ones with intentionality that you can follow through on, and that the timing works with your calendar and also doesn't necessarily fatigue your subscribers. Here's the second relationship marketing strategy that I want you to think about for your business, and that is to either host or participate in a summit. So as far as participating in a summit, it's pretty much exactly like a bundle, except for the fact that you're not necessarily passively entering a freebie, you are contributing with a signature talk. So what you are going to need to do as a summit participant is always make sure that you've got a readily available signature talk scripted out that you can submit into that summit organizer. And that could be a recorded session, it could be a live, it might be a panel, but always having something at hand. And when I sometimes talk to members inside our community, they're like, well, what's a signature talk, Brenda? And ideally, it's coming from your signature offer. So you're going to be providing a bit of a backdrop into a component or a gem that you're pulling out of your signature offer and you're creating into a signature talk. Now, oftentimes when I'm doing my signature talk, for people that have signed up on my list to take part in it, that might be a 60 to 90 minute session. In a summit, you might only have somewhere between 15 minutes to half an hour. So you're going to need to have a couple varieties of how that signature talk plays out so that you can do a shortened, compressed version, as well as obviously your longer version that you would host in your own community. Now, the cool thing too also about summits is the organizers will often allow you to provide a bit of a freebie. So you can also share a link to a freebie. So you want to make sure that that's available. And usually that's typically a paid resource or a really good free resources. A really good free resource that you already have existing on your site. So you've got your landing page, you've got your welcome sequence, and you've got your freebie all ready to go. And you would submit that along with your signature talk when you're filling out the application for the summit. Now, summits can take place sometimes, again, seasonally, similar to bundles. They'll happen early in the new year, a spring one typically. Usually summer, there's a bit of a hiatus, but organizers will start prepping at the later part of the summer so they can have something ready late September, October, early November. So there's usually like sort of 3-4 times a year, depending on where you are in the world. But again, a great opportunity for building your list. Plus, the other thing that's great about the summit organizers is that usually they have been doing a lot of list building work to make sure that people are coming to the summit. So you are going to be able to piggyback off of this new list building generation that they've already been doing in their business. Now, for hosts of a bundle, this is actually a great way for you to go out there and establish your expertise. I always like to give myself somewhere between 60 to 90 days runway, especially if I haven't been doing them for a while. There's a lot of organization on your side. You know, sometimes it's a little bit like herding cats, sweeping feathers, trying to get everybody's bios and headshots organized and making sure that their links work. But once you get that sort of core operation set up around it, it can be fairly systematic to organize. And it's a great way for you to get in front of new audiences because you are bringing together somewhere between 20 to 40 speakers, could be reaching anywhere to 500 to 5,000 new potential subscribers coming into your very own list. And I think as that organizer, you get established right away as being a credible expert because it's like, wow, you know all these people in a similar space as you. You obviously have been working with those people, doing research, understanding how to position yourself. And so you are aware of kind of like what's happening in the marketplace and what are the leading trends and who are those people, those influencers out there that are speaking in that space. So a great way to establish yourself as a credible expert. The third way that I love to do relationship-based marketing is freebie swaps. Freebie swaps are amazing. They're similar to kind of doing a bundle or a summit, but without the whole scale operations and production. So the nice thing about doing a freebie swap is that you can reach out to say 5-10 other business owners that are in similar niches or associations as you and swap a free tool with them. And you're not, again, having to do this big lineup, a lot of promotion. You're basically just saying, hey, take a look at Brenda's new free offer here. She's got some amazing things and I want you to like pay attention to her. And the nice thing about it is the lift is easy to do as far as an operation. It gives you an opportunity to test out various freebies just to see what the reaction and the uptake is from a new audience that you've never worked with before. And again, if you're not used to doing summits and bundles with like large crowds and lounge influxes, because it's a good way for you to test out your systems to see how well your welcome sequence is landing with people and see if you're making some new conversions with this new audience that you're starting to connect with. Strategy that I love, and again, kind of a bit of a low lift way to execute on it, is podcast guesting. So the major work comes in pitching people around podcast guesting, but I would always say join communities, be part of memberships. Oftentimes podcasts Oftentimes, membership hosts will encourage podcast guesting or freebie swaps within their community, like I do inside the Aligned AF community. And podcast guesting is a great way because, again, this podcast host has got an established community. They are seen as an expert among their subscribers within their podcast grouping. And now you get access into this new audience. Now, there's two keys to podcast guesting that I can't stress enough. First of all, go into that conversation with that podcast host with one key topic that you really want to make sure gets across. So as they're asking you open-ended questions about what you do and how you service your clients and what your offers all look like, make sure that you're coming back to this key destination that you want the listeners to get to, which is this free opportunity to potentially work with you or get involved with your list. So instead of throwing out a bunch of websites and a bunch of social media channels on where they can find you, make sure that there's one clear link and set it up so that it's super easy, like brendarigney.com/free, so that when you share the link over the podcast episode, listeners can pick up on it really quickly and already start downloading your freebie. So that is my list of 4 ways that you can do relationship-based marketing by growing collaborations and partnerships with other business owners out there. Notice how I don't mention anything about paying money for ads or doing a lot of back-end operations that just become taxing on you and taxing on your time. This is a great way for you to get that messaging and that expertise about who you are out there in the marketplace. Start growing your list with audiences that are intentionally aligned with who you are and what you offer. Let me know how it goes. So before I leave you today, I want to give you one piece of homework that I want you to do. I want you to reach out to 5 to 10 business owners in your niche, in your community of practice, and suggest one of those 4 ways that you can build relationship and start collaborating with them. They may have recently joined up with a bundle and they could connect you in with that bundle host. They may want to do a freebie swap with you or invite you onto their upcoming podcast. So you never know. Reach out to those 5 business owners this week and start building relationships and collaborating around your offers.